So what really stood out to you? I mean, the right kind of things are being said at this point.
Yeah, right now the right things are being said, obviously. But keep in mind, Gina Raimondo, as the Commerce Secretary, has been a key architect in the Biden administration on these export controls to China. And again, it's just been a year since Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, called these export controls a new strategic asset, and that the United States needs to take or maintain as large a lead as possible in foundational technologies like advanced logic and memory chips and the like. And Gina Raimondo has been on board, essentially. And that has created political differences, no doubt, between China and the United States. So the message seems to be shifting a little bit from the Biden administration, as this is now the fourth, essentially, cabinet level minister or secretary from the United States that included Jake Sullivan and Janet Yellen and John Kerry and now Gina Raimondo to go to Beijing since June to kind of repair the relationship. And this is kind of a no-does situation where Gina Raimondo is saying, well, trade and transparency can be the foundation, essentially. The hope, she says, and I quote here, that the commercial relationship done right can stabilize political relationship. Well, let's hear from Gina Raimondo.
We agreed to establish a new commercial issues working group, a formal working group, which will involve U.S. and Chinese government officials, and very importantly, U.S. and Chinese commercial private sector representatives, as we seek solutions on trade and investment issues and to advance U.S. commercial interests in China.
Now, Gina Raimondo met with her Chinese counterpart, Wen Tao, for more than 4 hours in Beijing yesterday. It seemed like a constructive conversation. After that, the Ministry of Commerce in China, MOFCOM, essentially said that the talks were rational, candid, and constructive. They have agreed to meet at least once a year. But again, back on the national security issues, which is at the heart of the export controls, while Gina Raimondo said most trade between China and the United States has nothing to do with national security. She really emphasized that. This, of course, coming after meeting with U.S. interest groups before her trip to China, who are complaining that there's not enough dialogue and the export market for their products to China has pretty much dried up. So obviously she's listening to those trade groups. She's come to China with a little bit of a different message saying, look, most of our products that are sold to China are not under national security concerns. However, she did emphasize, and this does not surprise me one bit, she said, I want to be clear, we are not compromising or negotiating in matters of national security, period. But again, she does want to foster better trade and transparency with Beijing.